So here we are, dancing with words, ideas, and a few smirks along the way. You see, the funny thing about all of this, about life, belief and change, is it's a bit like trying to tickle yourself. It feels impossible, doesn't it? But what if you shifted a little, leaned in, reached out, and let go of trying so hard? You might even surprise yourself. Most people think their beliefs are the solid ground beneath their feet, immutable, absolute, sacred. But what if, just for a moment, you considered that those beliefs, they aren't the ground at all? What if they were just the shoes you were wearing? Shoes you can slip off. Or maybe, just maybe, they're too tight, too old, and someone else gave them to you a long time ago. And who wants to walk through life in someone else's pinchy old shoes? Let's take a stroll into the next part together, gently, easily. And here's a thought. What if the very thing that's holding you back could become the thing that sets you free? Imagine for a moment the problem, the frustration, the stuckness. It's like a ladder you're trying to climb, only it's lying on the ground. But you've got a sense of humour, don't you? So what do? You laugh at the absurdity of trying to climb the ladder, the horizontal ladder. And then you tilt it up. One step at a time, you climb. Humour is the lever, the tool that lifts the ladder, the secret that sneaks into your mind and whispers, hey, maybe you don't have to take this so seriously after all. Because once you see the ridiculousness of holding on to things that don't work, it's impossible to keep holding on. Go ahead, try holding on to a burning coal. Once you notice it's burning, you'll drop it naturally, effortlessly. And isn't it fascinating how people, they'll defend a belief that's been making them miserable. They'll guard it like a treasure. But here's the reframe. What if the belief isn't a treasure at all? What if it's just a heavy, rusty old anchor? Sure, it kept you in one place. But isn't it time to set sail? Because listen closely. When you laugh at something, you take away its power. Laughter is the great disarmer, the great liberator, the key that unlocks the chains. You see the absurdity, the illogical logic of it all, and suddenly you're free. Isn't freedom what you've really wanted all along? Freedom to think differently, to act differently, to be different. Let's play for a moment. Imagine someone tells you, I've failed at everything I ever tried, so there's no point in trying anymore. And instead of nodding, sympathising with their misery, you smile and say, well, that sounds like a foolproof plan, doesn't it? And they look at you, confused, maybe even a little annoyed, and go, wait, what do you mean? And you just smile again, a knowing smile. Well, think about it. If not trying has worked so well for you so far, then by all means, keep not trying. It's a little jolt, isn't it? A nudge, a wink, and suddenly they're thinking, really thinking, for maybe the first time in a long time. And here's another little secret. People, they aren't stuck because they don't know what to do. They're stuck because they've convinced themselves they can't do it. So you start small, subtle. You say, what if you could? Just an experiment. What if it's not as hard as you think? And then you paint a picture, vivid, alive. You say, imagine waking up tomorrow and the thing that felt impossible yesterday now feels easy, effortless, like flipping a switch. What would that look like? What would that feel like? Can you see it? Good. Now step into it. Try it on. See how it fits. And here's the funny thing about humour. It's not just about laughing at the world. It's about laughing with it. It's about flirting with possibilities, teasing out new perspectives, like opening a window into a stuffy old room and letting the fresh air in. Because life, my friend, it isn't about fixing what's broken. It's about building something better, something that works, something that excites you. And here's the kicker. You don't have to wait. You don't need permission. You can start right now. So here's a question for you. What if the next step forward wasn't a struggle at all? What if it was as simple as smiling, as light as laughter, and as easy as trying on a new pair of shoes? And as you consider that, Notice how little spark ignites, little lightness fills the room, and maybe, just maybe, you're already stepping into something new. Now, isn't that a good plan? As you find yourself here, hearing these words, you might begin to notice something, a shift perhaps, a gentle opening like a door you didn't even know was there, and behind that door, possibility, potential, a way of thinking, of being, that feels so natural, so effortless. It's as though it was always there. And isn't that interesting? How sometimes the things you thought were fixed, set in stone, they're nothing more than ideas written in sand. Sand that shifts, flows, and reshapes itself with the lightness of touch. So as we continue, just let those old ideas, the ones that no longer serve you, start to loosen, because there's something new waiting to take their place. And here's a thought worth considering. What if the beliefs they're holding on to haven't been holding you up? What if they've been holding you down? Like trying to climb a mountain while carrying a bag of rocks. But here's the thing about that bag. It's not locked. It's not tied to you. In fact, you could set it down right now. Right now. And notice how much lighter you feel. And isn't that the truth about change? It's not about effort. It's not about struggle. It's about letting go of what's heavy so you can rise, float, move. Because the moment you release the weight, the natural upward pull takes over. Now think about this. Have you ever been so focused on a problem, it felt like the only thing that existed? Like starting a painting with your nose pressed up against the canvas. You see the smudges, the flaws, the chaos. But then you take a step back and another, and suddenly the picture becomes clear, beautiful, perfect in its imperfection. And that is what we're doing here, stepping back, expanding, seeing the whole picture. Because when you widen your perspective, you begin to see options where there seem to be none before, opportunities where there's only dead ends. Let's play a little, shall we? Imagine for a moment, every belief you hold is like a seed. Some seeds grow into towering oaks, strong and steady. Others grow into weeds, tangling around your feet, tripping you up. And here's the question. Which seeds have you been watering? Because the truth is, you're the gardener here. You get to choose. You can pull out the weeds and plant something new and watch it grow. And as you do, notice how the landscape of your mind begins to change. Brighter, more vibrant, filled with possibilities you didn't even know existed. And speaking of possibilities, have you ever noticed how the smallest shift can create the biggest change? Like adjusting the angle of a sail by just a few degrees and finding yourself in an entirely new destination. Or changing a single word in a sentence and discovering it changes the entire meaning. For example, instead of saying, I can't, try saying, I haven't yet, and notice the difference. Feel it. I can't. It's a wall, solid and unyielding. But I haven't yet. That's a door. A door that's already cracked open, just waiting for you to step through. And here's the funny thing about stepping through doors. Most people think that they need to know what's on the other side before they can take a step. But the truth is, the step itself creates the path. And as you step, the path becomes clearer, brighter, more inviting. And isn't that how life works? The path doesn't appear first. It unfolds as you walk it. So as you imagine yourself taking that step, notice how the old doubts, the old fears, they start to fade. Because they're not needed anymore. They're just placeholders, finding the space where confidence and curiosity grow. And isn't it fascinating how humour sneaks into all of this? Like a mischievous little trickster, turning the heavy into the light, the serious into the absurd. Because when you laugh at something, you take its power away. So, if you've been holding on to a belief that made you feel stuck, just imagine it now, picture it vividly, and then imagine it with a clown's nose, or a silly hat, or tap dancing across the stage, completely ridiculous. Notice how hard it is to take it serious now. Notice how easy it is to let it go. Because here's the truth worth remembering. You don't need to fix what's broken. You simply need to build something better. You don't need to fight the old. You just need to create the new. And as you do, you might begin to realize You've had the tools all along. The ability to shift your perspective, to laugh, to choose, to step into a future that feels lighter, freer, and so much more you. So as you consider all of this, notice what's already starting to change. Notice the lightness, the curiosity, the spark of possibility. Let it grow, because this, my friend, is just the beginning. Isn't it a wonderful thought?